take care of yourself. And as you're taking care of yourself, pay attention to what allows you to access wisdom and joy and meaning. I am Maia Dery. I am an artist, educator, and dedicated surfer. I discovered a few years after I began teaching that the vision that I had for my life in my 20s was not going to cut it. I'd worked very hard to have a successful career as an exhibiting artist. There was a moment when my work was being featured in a gallery that I respected very much, and it just so happened that they had started to advertise on the local NPR station at precisely the moment that the exhibition I was part of went up. And so for about 6 weeks, I'm a little bit of an NPR addict, and for about 6 weeks, every time I turned on the radio station, I heard my name. And unexpectedly, it produced a little bit of a crisis. And I realized that just having been in an educational setting as an instructor, as an educator, a facilitator of growth for a few years had really changed what I knew about myself and what I wanted to do in the world. And I realized in that moment that if I was going to be known for something, that just being an artist in the sense of producing objects that people looked at was not going to be enough. What I really wanted to do was to help other people develop and act on a more creative vision for their own life and their own success, and to figure out what kind of composition I could help them create that would allow them to be the best versions of themselves. So about 10 years ago, I began experimenting in the way that I had in my own art practice. I began experimenting in the formal educational setting. And what I had discovered in my own work was that if I ever tried to divide my life up into portions, and I thought of my work as an artist as separate from my physical health, or sort of my existential wisdom, or my social or emotional well-being, that I ended up getting in my own way, tripping over myself. But that if I could dissolve those artificial barriers, and they do seem like artificial barriers to me, between the various parts of myself, that my work got better, and my life got better, my relationships got better, my health improved. And there are a great many benefits to formal education the way that it's set up. But one of the tremendous costs that is exacted on students who go through, the students of all ages, people getting their PhD, first graders, is that we do tend to separate people's bodily development from their intellectual development, as if their intellect were not situated in their embodied reality. And after I had been teaching for a few years at Guilford College, and because Guilford is a pretty creative, unique institution, I had room to try to dissolve some of these barriers in the classroom setting. I fell in love about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, madly and passionately in love with surfing, of all things. And I was 40 years old at the time, and I had a lot of prejudices, a lot of stereotypes in my head about who could surf and what kind of people surfed, all of which turned out to be not true. I'm a pretty small and relatively weak person, not a gifted athlete, but the things that I had to learn, the creativity that I had to bring to bear to be able to develop a sustained practice as a surfer, in turn infused my teaching with a kind of creativity and really a kind of joy, because the thing that surfing has allowed me to access is this deep joy of learning. This all sort of got mixed up together in that way that creativity allows you to kind of mix and juxtapose things that don't seem related. So now I'm offering a retreat. The inaugural Waves to Wisdom retreat is this summer, this July, and we're almost full now, but I am using yoga and surfing and creative expression exercises as a way to help people who are out of college tap into this power and develop more creative visions for their lives.